Good morning. I'm just coming on here today to give you guys a little tutorial on how to drop a baby into a backdrop that has a white curl to it. So I had previously done one which was darker with a kind of a gray dark background, and today I'm going to do one with white fluffy curls. This one here is actually one of my own digital backdrops that I hand painted. And yeah, so this one will be in the store pretty soon. It's going to be really fun. It's been really fun to work with and make. I love doing this kind of creative stuff, so I had a lot of fun doing this for sure. So I'm going to drop the baby in. I've already gone ahead and liquefied her a little bit just around the edges here and touched up her skin. So now I'm gonna make a duplicate copy of her onto that layer. Another way to do that would be to click on the layer you want to drop her into, and you would go File and Place Embedded, and when you click this, it'll bring up a folder thing here, and then you can select what you want to drop in. But since I've already got her in Photoshop, I'm just going to make a copy of her. So you can select all of her, hit Control C, go over to your next picture, pick the layer that you want to drop her into, and hit Control V. It's going to ask you, because they're in two different working spaces, if you want to convert it to the working space of the backdrop, and you do. Otherwise, the color could be off on the baby, and you don't want to be off. All right, so I do have a pattern and these clouds over top of this layer, so I'm actually just going to turn those off for now so I can see what I'm kind of doing here. All right, so you need to resize her. So I like to change my layers into smart objects. So you just go Layer, Smart Object, and Convert to Smart Object. Once this layer is converted to a smart object, it'll have this little picture icon here in the corner, and now you know it's a smart object and you can resize. So let's just bring the opacity down a little bit so you can see what she looks like on the background. I'm just gonna drag her here, Control T to resize. I just need to resize her a little bit. When you are resizing, just make sure that this little button here is clipped down. If it's not clipped down, I'll show you. It'll kind of change her shape and size, which we don't really want. So I'm just going to hit Control Z to go back. And let's put that down there. All right. Just make her a little smaller. I'm trying to make sure that what I'm looking for here is I want a little bit of curls, above her head here a bit, and a little bit underneath her, so that I can blend the curls in a little bit when I'm adding her in. Alright, so let's just bring the opacity all the way up, and I'm going to put a layer mask on this layer. Alright, so let's bring up my brush, and with a soft, large black brush, we're just gonna paint out the part of the picture we don't want in there. Alright, so already that's looking like it's blending pretty good. But we do need to do a little bit more, because as you can see, the curls that are in the bowl are a little more off-white than the color of the curls that she's laying on. So we need to kind of adjust those colors a little bit. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss any of that background. A little bit right there. Okay. So now that I've kind of got her in there, we want to make our brush a lot smaller. And we're going to hit X to switch the palettes here to white. Now we're going to paint her, little hair and head back in a little bit more here. And yes, we want that at 100%. You could make your brush harder as well. I prefer to just go with like a smaller brush. But you could adjust the hardness on your brush here and like bring it up to like 30-40% to go around these edges. I'm going to actually make mine softer again. All right, so because we have her on a pure white, but the curls here are kind of a gray, sorry, not a gray, like an off-white, we want to match these two colors a little bit here. Now, one way you could do that is to, bring the opacity down on your brush. You could bring it down to about 20% and just kind of blend it in a little bit more. Oh, sorry, I have that on the wrong. I want it to be a black brush. And just kind of blend it in as a little bit more here. And another way, which is probably better, is to select this color and paint it into your white curls a little bit here. So I'm actually going to make a new combined layer of these two layers over top here. And how you do that is hit Shift Control Alt E. And anytime I say Control, it's going to be Command on a Mac. So now I've got basically these two layers combined. And I'm going to paint right on this layer. I'm actually going to name this layer Paint Layer. And with my brush, but we're going to change the mode on my brush to color. I'm just noticing I kind of blended something weird there. So I'm actually going to take my let's see, what do I want to use? This brush, or sorry, this tool here. And I'm just going to blend that out. All right. Any other weird things you can just kind of clone out here? Oh, my computer's lagging a bit. There we go. All right. So with your brush on color, you're going to select the color that you want to paint with. I would suggest to start at a low opacity and just see what that does and build it up. Like paint with a low opacity and just build it up in certain areas that you want it to be. make your brush smaller to fit these little bits on her. I'm going really quick here, but you may want to go a bit slower and just build it up as much as you want. Already I can tell that's looking a lot better though. So if I go turn this layer off and then back on, you can see the difference, the white here versus there. It's looking a lot cleaner. It's blending a lot better. All right. So that is basically how you would put a baby into white. You want to make sure that you're matching or somewhat matching the material that you have the baby on to the backdrop that you're going to use. It helps blend it a lot more. So if you have some sort of curls or a white blanket or something like that that you can use to blend into like white curls, that is the best material to use for this. Now with these layers, I have, with this background, I have another layer which adds like the little curls on top, kind of just, the little clouds, not curls, on top. It kind of adds a little more depth of field and interest to the picture, as well as a pattern. So the pattern in this folder here is taken off of this bowl area. So as you can see, it's just going around on the paper around the bowl, and it's not actually on the bowl, so it won't be on your subject once you have the baby placed in the bowl. It's just going to add the pattern around it. So it kind of makes it look a little more like a watercolor. And anyways, I really love how this backdrop turned out. In the next month, I'll probably have a few other ones done up and put in the store. So I will kind of give you guys a heads up of when those will be in. And yeah, check out my Instagram. My handle is at Getzlaf Photo. I'm going to be having lots of fun stuff being posted on there too soon. And I'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.